very good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News here on MTV Sports. I'm Ramesh Rugalbandar.
And I'm Krishna Panitharatna. Let's start off with a look at the headlines first.
Protests held across the country in support and against the impeachment motion. The impeachment motion taken up for debate in Parliament. The Friday Forum requests the President to take the lead to solve the issue between the legislature and the judiciary. Also making headlines, 10 inmates escaped from a court lockup in Avisavel.
Two protests were held today in Colombo in support and against the impeachment motion against the Chief Justice. The demonstrations took place in the Colombo Superior Court complex.
A group that had gathered near the Colombo Superior Court complex this morning and demonstrated in support of the impeachment motion attacked an individual in close proximity to the court complex. Karyavasam, the director of the Environmental Conservation Trust, was the victim of this attack.
දෝෂාභියෝගයට එරෙහිව මම මේ උසාවියේ නඩුවක් පැවරුවා මේකට විරුද්ධව ඒ නඩුව
I am against the impeachment motion, therefore I filed a case against it. I arrived here to assist the attorneys. Then a group of thugs assaulted me in front of the police. When I went to lodge a complaint, the Kesselwatta police refused to accept it. I had to go to the police headquarters to lodge a complaint.
බාරගන්නෙත් නැහැ. මම ඊට පස්සේ පොලිස් මූලස්ථානයේ පැමිණිලි අංශයට ගිහිල්ලා තමයි පැමිණිල්ලක් කරේ.
Meanwhile, a group had also attacked an individual who expressed views against the government.
Meanwhile, journalists raised questions about this incident at the cabinet media briefing held today.
මම දැක්කේ නෑ බලන්න ඕනේ ඒක ඇත්තටම මම පාර්ලිමේන්තු මම නෑ මට දැන් මෙහෙම එකඟ වෙනවද නැද්ද කියන එක මම දැන් ඒක කියපු විස්තර අනුව ඔය කියපු විදිහට මම දන්නේ නෑ දැන් මේ රට වෙනුවෙන් කියලා කියපු එක හරියද එහෙම රට වෙනුවෙන් කියලා ගැහුවා නම් වැරදි රට වෙනුවෙන් කියලා ගහන්න බෑ රට වෙනුවෙන් කියලා ඒක තමයි මම කියේ ඒක පොලිසියට වහාම පොලිසියෙන් අහන්න ඕනේ ඇයි කියලා ඒක. අන්තිමට පොලිසිය මුලින්ම බහර දීමට උල්පන්දම් දීමක් සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතනද? ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ පොලිසිය මුලින්ම බහර දීමට මේ අනුබල දීමක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ නෑ ඒක තමයි මම කියන්නේ ඒසේ වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒක ගැන පරීක්ෂණයක් පවත්වන්න ඕනේ වහාම. ඒක නෑ එහෙම කියන්න බෑ කිසිම එකක් නෙමෙයි හුඟක් ඒවා පරීක්ෂණ වාර්තාවල් තියෙනවා හොයාගෙන තියෙනවා. නැති ඒවත් තියෙනවා.
Politicians expressed their views during the demonstration held in Colombo today against the impeachment motion that was brought against the Chief Justice.
The only power of the government is the thuggery and the power of murders. The citizens who respect the law are moving further away from the government. We are always ready to sacrifice our lives to protect the supremacy of the people. Therefore, I would like to appeal from all Sri Lankans not to leave any room for politicians to amend the country's constitution to suit their personal needs.
එක දේශපාලඥයින්ගේ පුද්ගලික ඕනෑපාකම් වලට විනාශ කරන්නට සංශෝධනය කරන්නට වෙනස් කරන්නට අපි කිසිදාක ඉඩ තබන්නේ නැහැ. ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවට එරෙහිව ගමන් කරලා තිබෙනවා.
The people should come forward against the government that has worked against the constitution. We invite everyone in this country who respects democracy and freedom and who are against the dictatorial rule to defeat the aggressive attempts of the government. The entire world can see the drama the government is carrying out to bring down cars. There is no need to say there was a conspiracy from the West. Today this has been transformed into a conspiracy in the Mahinda Chintane.
Meanwhile, those engaging in a protest march against the impeachment motion arrived at the Lake House roundabout. The police took measures to barricade the road leading towards Galle-Face. Thereafter, the protesters marched back to the Superior Court complex and dispersed. We request the government to remove this illegal impeachment motion. If they don't do this, the battle will not conclude here. We are prepared to sacrifice our lives to take this battle forward. We need to give only one message. Protect the Constitution. Do not provide room for the Constitution to be torn up. If the Constitution of any country is not upheld or court rulings are not enacted, that means there is a dictatorship in the country. I believe that the people of this country will be able to witness the true form of this dictatorship from today. Please stop the impeachment process. We request that democracy be protected even in these final moments. We respectfully request that the stability and security of the judiciary be ensured. In related news, a protest was also held at the Parliament roundabout in support of the impeachment motion against the Chief Justice.
A large group, including politicians and trade union representatives, took part in this protest.
සාමය ඇති කලයන් පස්සේ සාමය භුක්ති විඳින අවස්ථාවේදී නොඑක් බලවේගයන් තුල මේ රජය උදුරා ගැනීමේ කාරණාවේදී
At a time when we are enjoying freedom after the war, we have begun to realize that the Chief Justice too is playing a role in the attempts made to remove this government. The people of the view that she should not remain in this position.
තැනැත්තියක් ඇරෙන අග්‍රවිශ්වකාරතුමිය ඒ තනතුරේ තවදුරටත් නොසිටිය යුතුයි කියන කාරණාව තමයි අද ජනතාව කියන්නේ.
මහා බාල බොළඳ උත්සාහයක් මේ වෙලාවේ මේ රටේ ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ විශේෂයෙන් මේ
A very low act is taking place in the country. When you take a look at the factions that are supporting the Chief Justice, it is evident that an operation is underway with the assistance of the foreign forces and NGOs.
ඩොලර් කාක්කෝ පිරිසක් එක්ක එක්කහුව වෙච්ච වැඩපිළිවෙලක් තමයි මේ වෙලාවේ අගවිනිසුරුතුමියත් එක්ක ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ.
Protests were held in many parts of the island against and in support of the impeachment motion against the Chief Justice.
Lawyers at the Mount Lavinia Court complex refrained from court activities in protest against the impeachment motion against the Chief Justice. The daily activities of the Mount Lavinia Court complex was therefore disrupted. This is the situation that could be witnessed at the Kalutara High Court following the decision made by its lawyers to refrain from court activities. Lawyers at the Horana Court complex too refrained from work today. The daily activities at the Galle Court complex was disrupted as its lawyers stayed away from work. The lawyers of the Balapitiya court too refrained from court activities in protest of the impeachment motion. A group of lawyers in Mathura carried out a protest march near the Mathura court complex today against the impeachment motion. However, another group who gathered opposite the Mathura bus stand engaged in a demonstration demanding the Chief Justice to resign from her post. The proceedings at the Tangol Magistrate Court came to a standstill today as the lawyers did not arrive in court. The lawyers of the Mahava Court refrained from their duties and engaged in a protest against the impeachment motion. The daily activities of the Hatton District Magistrate Court were also disrupted today.
Well, the Sri Lanka Independent Lawyers Association, together with 4 other law associations, convened a media briefing in Colombo today. Now, the topic of discussion was the current situation that has arisen due to the impeachment motion.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නීතිඥ සංවිධානය
The Bar Association decided yesterday that all lawyers will refrain from engaging in work today and tomorrow. But we must mention here that this decision was taken by the Bar Association without informing all lawyers and all of its members. Therefore, lawyers in many parts of the country carried out their duties today. We wish to emphasize that an overall decision was not taken for lawyers to refrain from their duties. A writ against the parliament has not been issued anywhere in the world. We constantly looked at the impeachment motion from the perspective of other countries and how other countries would have dealt with such a situation. Please bear in mind that other countries too will take Sri Lanka as an example.
Welcome back. The Friday Forum urges the President to give the necessary leadership to resolve the conflict between the legislature and the judiciary that has so unaccountably and unnecessarily emerged at this crucial moment in the country's history. This request was made to the President in a letter from the Friday Forum bearing the signatures of Dr. Jayantha Dhanapala, Professor Savithri Gunasekara and Dr. Jayampathy Vikramaratna.
In a letter to President Mahinda Rajapaksa, the Friday Forum says that the impeachment proceedings against the Chief Justice did not conform to recognized norms of natural justice and due process and adds that dissatisfaction with these proceedings contributed to public protests and litigation in the courts. The Friday Forum, in its letter to the President, requests the head of state to recognize and act according to the accepted norm as court decisions represent the law of the land, irrespective of views one may hold as to their content. The letter urges the President not to act on any address of Parliament that seeks to nullify court decisions. The Friday Forum notes that the conflict between the judiciary and the Parliament and a disregard of court decisions is not in the national interest and adds that it gives a powerful message to the nation that the rule of law can be undermined and rejected by the government. The organization adds that the potential consequences from this are both dangerous and disastrous.
Meanwhile, the joint business chambers view with serious concern the ongoing developments with respect to the impeachment motion brought against the Chief Justice and the possibility that it may lead to a grave constitutional crisis. The chambers point out that such a constitutional crisis will not be in the best interest of the country's economic and business environment and adds that it is likely to adversely affect the country's development process while significantly hindering the benefits from the peace dividend. The chambers call upon all concerned to act with restraint and respect and abide by the constitution of the country and hopes that the government will take the necessary steps to resolve the current impasse in the best interest of the nation. The joint business chambers consist of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, the Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry in Sri Lanka, National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka, National Chamber of Exporters of Sri Lanka, Chamber of Young Lankan Entrepreneurs, Joint Apparel Associations and the Ceylon National Chamber of Industries.